My nerd's bigger than your nerd. I know I came up with this show. My nerd's bigger than your nerd. Hopefully you'll never know. My nerd's bigger than your nerd. Don't really know I've heard. My nerd's bigger than your nerd. Whenever I heard such nerds. My nerd's bigger than your nerd. Don't really know I've heard. My nerd's bigger than your nerd. My nerd is bigger than your nerd.
My Nerf is Bigger Than Your Nerf, Part 2. Again, kind of an exalted title, especially when you consider all the other YouTubers have literally nailed all this stuff down. I forgot to mention at the start of this series, I'm about to have some major tooth surgery. So I'm cranking out these videos and I'm cranking out new songs, trying to get this stuff done in case it really messes up my voice. It's already and I'm really tired, but I'm gonna go ahead anyway because I spent the entire day conceptualizing how this part is gonna go down. Got a slight cold, but we're carrying on. Hopefully it's not terribly inconsistent between the videos. In the first vid, we talked about musket-style battles and dueling pistols, last-ditch attachments, and on the next video, we're going to talk about the main, primary, and secondary loadouts. But this video is probably going to contain all my favorite stuff. It may not be the funniest video, it may not be the most fun video, but it sure has some really cool stuff in it. It's where you're gonna find most of your Nerf collectibles, and you're gonna find a lot of your, in general, a lot of your just fun. It's wizards, in case I don't uncover it throughout the entire video. I'm Starshirt, DJ Analysis. I just released a new song called Worm in My Eye, and it was pretty fun, pretty funny. Go look it up, it's very interesting. But these are more like analytical videos, and I do this all over my channel. I just don't want my channel to become a Nerf channel, so I'm trying to cram these 25 blasters into like 3 videos, and by the time we reach the 4th video, we'll have all of us doing, you know, paper dolls and loadouts. We'll be plopping blasters on our friends. I'll be, you know, playing paper dolls with my friends, and they'll be playing paper dolls with me. So at the end of the last video, I showed this thing called the barrel strike, and it deploys out like this, and it shoots 4 shots, repeating, and you can put an ammo clip on top of here. That was what I was talking about. And then it holds like 12. And it's actually not bad with a 9-kilogram spring. And the reason I'm showing it here is because it technically fits 2 niches in my collection. It works as a last-ditch backup barrel attachment, or a 12-shot, you know, Nerf pistol. But the barrel system is pretty faulty. Say we have like, we set our capacity at 12. This is technically like a 10th player in this collection. So just putting it out there that it, despite it being kind of a shitty blaster, it technically fills 2 slots. It's the only blaster that actually fits on 2 of these videos. It's due to a loophole, really. But I thought I'd mention it because it's funny. The Ray Jack-U blaster is probably my least favorite blaster in my collection, despite the barrel strike having so many idiosyncrasies and issues with its ammo. The Jakku, it's actually not bad. Alright, I'm a little pissy because it kind of reminds me of the hop up on a Kronos. It hits high after upgrades with a 4.5 kg spring. Actually grab it about here, pop your dart in, you close her up, and when you go to pull this thing up, go ahead and make this little notch disappear. You know, just bring it completely out of your sight. Oh, of course I missed. It shot too high. Oh, and that one farted out. Good. Missed. Ta-da! Finally I hit. Let's try some trigger follow-through. Okay, yeah, it's not bad, but it's the only one out of the ICS internal magazine systems that really gives me a problem. Making this little notch disappear isn't enough. You know, you really have to pull this back like Han Solo to shoot it, and that's stupid. It's the Ray Jack You blaster, which is the Ray Jack Me blaster. In a way, I feel kind of jacked after spending, you know, 17 bucks on the blaster and then 10 bucks for the blaster mod spring. The 4.5 kilogram blaster mod spring is a very awkward spring too. But she takes an ammo clip. She technically shoots 4, holds 3, so she has this awkward capacity of 11 to 12 ammo. But hey, there's that magic number 12 again. So we technically have another player, but damn, it's kind of sad when you can actually say you want to use the barrel strike over the Jakku. I didn't really change anything though. I kept going with my superfluous ICS system adventure. I did end up with like 3 players. This is the Shadow, and I actually don't think this one is as bad as people say it is. With a 5 kilogram worker spring right here, the plunger is actually really quite small. But I trimmed it down and it seems to be working. This one has a rubber plunger head, so I was able to remove the smart AR system. It has a really easy loading system, a guide even. But what really impressed me was the 1.5 inch prime, and it actually does all the work for you like a Helios. So it's a little tough to prime. It's auto retracting, you know? Oh, and it's more accurate too. I don't actually have to be like, you know, I can just literally fire it off. Yeah, no kidding. Kind of hard to prime sitting down like this. Yeah, but I can't miss. That's dope. It's not as powerful as the Jakku, but it's more accurate and more consistent. I appreciate that. There's one more shot. Hey, 5 for 5. You can't miss with it, you know? Whereas with the Jakku, I barely heard that. Kaplap! We have more rails down here. So, you know, automatically, this thing says it holds 6. ICS 6, but really, I can only get it to hold 5. If I put 6 in it, it'll jam, and then it'll jam again. It'll actually jam twice. 2 of the darts will jam up. But if I just load 5, none of them do. So I treat it like a 5 system, and we hold 16 on the side. We can hold more. The novelty, this thing just has novelty for days. Then you have the dang Ultra 5, and this one, kind of like the Jakku, it shoots 4, it holds 3, but this is technically my favorite. I bought one, and the darts were spiraling out of control, so I trimmed it down a little bit. Added my Chronos spring spear over the top, but the AccuStrike darts were still drooping a little bit, so I bought another one. And this one seemed to be in much better shape, better construction, and I bought this weird ammo holder that holds 7, but it really holds like 14, because I'm holding it by the heads. You see that? And they stay in. That's pretty cool. But this one was accurate right out of the box. I just threw the Heracles spring over the stock spring in order to give it a little bit of longevity. But this is definitely my preferred ICS system. Oh, it's super easy to prime, too. I can typically put the bead right on the reticle. Didn't hit the sheet metal, but we went into the box. Sheet metal? These are the AccuStrike darts. You really can't miss with them. 35 to 40 feet. Actually, even up to 45 feet, if I remember correctly. The Sonic Screamers, I have to step in a little bit to like 34 to 38 feet, but interestingly enough, they actually shoot faster, and I have to make that bead disappear at the front, like kind of like drop it down below the reticle. Let's see if I can hit my fridge from 40 feet away. I have a fridge across the room. Literally is like 2 rooms away practically, but there's too many things in between, and I'm sitting down. I hit just beside the fridge. Damn it. Last one. Can I hit the fridge? It's pretty far. Like I said, it's awkward sitting down. I keep hitting the cabinet directly to the side, but that's because this is a little bit further than this guy's range. It really does need to be about 35 feet, honestly. But the AccuStrike darts are really what matters. The rate of fire is fairly quick. All the distance is going to do more with these, but the fact is the accurate distance is what I care about. We have a 4.5 kilogram blaster mod spring, a 5 kilogram paratrooper spring, and then this one's stock with the Heracles stock spring over the top of it. 17 capacity. At the moment, this one's got like 21 capacity, and this one's got like 11 to 12 capacity. Which one do I like best? I like the Ultra 5, but you know, maybe you want the capacity and the ease of use of the Shadow and, you know, the novelty of it. And, you know, it's another battle system. It's kind of superfluous in my collection, and I probably could have cut all 3 of these out. The Ultra 3 is like 2 feet long. This one actually stores. That the Shadow kind of breaks the rules a little bit, but the capacity and, oh yeah, I totally forgot to mention, the thing actually does take a storage stock too, so you can literally load this thing down with like some of the most capacity in my collection. Is just load as you go. Oh, and that kind of reminds me, that's why this section is so awkward. Because you're loading as you go. You're holding 3 or 4 or 5 ammo, and then you're loading as you go, and the other pistols on this list you don't have to do that with. So these are in a very odd place. Me and other people are not really going to gravitate towards them. However, in contrast with the last video, and I talk about the curve flex, the ammo holds in this little holder quite well. And if you're just holding 7, wow, it holds it really well. Just, I don't know if you'd want to do that. I think you'd want to always hold it by the rubber heads. It just seems like the smarter thing to do. It won't damage the darts. So you have 14 ammo on your Ultra 5, and you have 3 in the chamber. That's 17 ammo. This can technically go into a book bag relatively well. You can even take this off and put it back on if they're both in the book bag, you know, in a separate pocket perhaps. That makes this one of the best last-ditch backups in the collection. So it's not a complete and total loss, but, you know, I didn't really have to go all out and find 3 players worth. Let's move on. Now, it's kind of an awkward video. I'm showing off my internal clip system magazine blasters first, and now we're gonna go right into dual wielding. And I should have saved dual wielding for last. This is one of the places where we kind of betray the formula here. While the dual wielding pistols do have a higher rate of fire, they are technically not as effective as the rival blasters at the end. The Nerf rival blasters are just, they have better accuracy and range and ability, capacity. I mean, sorry. In the end, I had to put these, you know, dual wielding pistols here just because I have trouble solidifying them in a 35 to 40 foot accurate range because one of your hands is your non-dominant hand. When you're using 2 blasters, 1 in each hand, really your dominant hand is your most accurate, and this is kind of like a bonus shot. And these are the rival visions. Double vision. This is probably the slowest rate of fire out of the 3 dual wielding options that I'm going to show you today. These got 7.5 coil K25s and spring spacers, not like a full upgrade, and I did that on purpose because even though I have donkey hands, which I showed in the last video, and am able to actually, you know, use these, it's still a pretty slow rate of fire, and there's things that dwarf these, and if you need a higher rate of fire, just use 1 at a time, obviously. But here's how it goes. Well, first time you do it, it's a little awkward, but now it should be smooth. Actually doing okay, but I'm also pretty close. My left hand isn't as accurate as my right. Now you could technically, I've got little lanyards here that I've attached. You could technically hook something onto those and just and prime it on your body if you wanted to, but this seems to be working okay. Yeah, I just attached a little bit of cord. 7.5 coils of K25, and this Chronos spring spacer is all it took for these. And as I stated, I seem to be kind of kicking ass with them, you know? That first shot, like I said, it's a little awkward. You know, you got to get them going. You know, and they're not quite broken in yet. I've only had them a couple weeks, but fun. And like I said, it's not a super high rate of fire, but you could switch to just one and have a higher rate of fire. Well, why not the Reaper? Well, these were 13.5 bucks a piece. Literally 27 bucks for two. That definitely kills the Reapers. Well, I've got the Scouts. I don't know if I feel like it. Yeah, the Scouts do seem pretty cool, and they have a rail, but it's load as you go. You could technically get more ammo with ammo clips, but it wouldn't be rival, and onboard capacity of 8 and 8, that's pretty awesome. You have 16 on hand right now, and they look really good, you gotta admit. So I'm about to show you 4 of these revolvers, and I actually carry all 4 of them, but since I'm sitting down, it's kind of awkward. I'm in my PJs, so I'm nice and comfy and, you know, calm and relaxed. You know, I decided, you know, we're talking about toys here, we can mellow the hell out. So I'm mellowed out. But yeah, I've got 4 of these, and I actually carry all 4 of them on me at a time, so which means I have 20 in capacity. We're using 5 kilogram out of dart springs in the Sweet Revenges, and I'm using trimmed down AccuStrike darts. Well, looks like there's one Adventure Force there. But, you know, there's no magic to dual wielding. You just have to practice, folks. You can't just reach up and grab your hammer. You can, but you're spending a lot of time. It's a lot quicker to just pull these up and go like that, you know? 2 motions, essentially. And yeah, my friends have all seen me use these and they're like, wow, holy crap, you know? They are a ton of fun. But these ones are technically a little bit weaker, so I use them for close range. These ones really do need to be like 35-foot range. Those 5 kilogram out of dart springs are not super tough. Stock springs might even be stronger, but these are more consistent and comfy, really easy to pump. That's what they advertise, actually. But yeah, the Sweet Revenge with 5 kilogram out of dart springs, and I have holsters for these. They work, and they hold extra darts too, so I totally forgot about that. However, my main revolvers are the hammer shots, and I'm sorry, they just are my favorite. I tried Negotiator, I tried Trailblazer, and I still have the Trailblazer, but it's awkward because it's 8 shots. And I wasn't able to get the actual replacement 7-round barrels to work, so I was like, you know, I'll just wait for Gen 2, or I'll try some O-rings. Sometime we'll try again. But 8.5 kilogram Sam Miller Enterprises spring, and I actually just got this one yesterday from Amazon, and Orange Modworks Hammer Shot spring right there, so, you know, 25 bucks free shipping, dude. But yeah, 15 bucks for this thing. What? Actually, both of these are Amazon exclusives, made in India, and they have a little better construction than a lot of the Chinese-made stuff. I also have a Kronos coming up, and that's made in India, spoiler. But yeah, these are a little more powerful, but they're my go-to, for sure. Again, cock them up, pop, pop, cock them up, and pop, pop. Ah, damn it. Let's switch hands. I feel like this one's a little more difficult. This one might be 8 kilograms, 8.5, but oh yeah, that is a little easier. So yeah, the reason I opted for this though, I was just using this and a Trailblazer at one point, but then I was like, I've got to have my double baby boom boom attachments. You see these attachments at the front? Those aren't supposed to be there. I've added that for a Cowboy Bebop kind of effect, you know? And you gotta admit, that is really tight, these little barrel extensions. They don't do anything. They just look tight. And I opted for these crazy Sesame Street colors. But yeah, I don't know. Something about them. They ended up being the favorite. And they're definitely strong enough to be the #1. You can easily take these back to 40 feet. Oh, and the distance, like I said, way more. I can shoot these over my fence, some 80 or 90 feet. But like I said, 40 feet of that is accurate. And honestly, I am 38 to 40 feet. Like I said, when you factor in that you're using your non-dominant hand for that second shot, you really can't give the dual wielding setups like the honest 40 and 45, even 35 to 45 feet. It's kind of giving when it comes to your non-dominant hand. So treat your non-dominant hand like a bonus shot. I ended up with 2 of the nail biters, and before I just blow all these out of here, let me go ahead and tell you what I did. All right, Xavier and Wacom will put K26s in these, and that's wrong. You can't use those. Nobody gets any good results with that. But to be honest with you, stock, they're fairly terrible. Like, you'll shoot them and you'll be like, wow, these only go 40 feet. I mean, they literally only go 40 feet. That's their like max distance. But then you upgrade them and you get kind of elite status, like 70, something like that, 60, 70, 6 kilogram blaster mod springs. Or now that I know I can make my own custom springs, you know, it's not a huge deal. But the problem is that Wacom and Xavier, they needed to take the spring to the end of the plunger tube. They can't just drop it back in its original housing. They would need to taper the spring or just cram the thing closed, which is what I did. I was like, Hulk smashed it closed and it worked. But you literally have to take that spring to the end, because the reason is because if you don't, the plunger tube is going to be mashing against this magazine, and you'll notice in their videos, their magazine doesn't cycle properly. You hear this? That's butter. See, both of them seem to be cycling pretty much like butter. Very nice. They're kind of noisy though, but what are you gonna do? At least you know that that's not wedging and ramming up against that. You've got stockade stocks on them. You could put like some stampede shields, stampede and stockade crap. That was pretty cool. Say these were slinged, for instance. You could boom, 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 boom. They don't have the greatest range and accuracy, but you close the distance and you have a pretty awesome rate of fire. Now, if you just go boom, 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 you're gonna have a lot of misfires. But if you just boom, 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 you won't. And if you do it with both hands, you'll have a pretty high rate of fire. And let's see how they do, okay? Two more, I think. Oh, the last one farted out. It is so effing hard to shoot these sitting down. Let's try again. That one worked all the way. This one jammed because, of course it did. We're filming, even after upgrades, lubing, rebuilding, spring swapping, going inside 3 or 4 of them. They are just a humongous pain in the ass. All right, yeah, it works. You need practice. It's really hard to do sitting down. It's the kind of thing I need both hands standing up, you know, and I really need to be in the zone and slamming it, because otherwise, if you half-ass it, it's gonna, if you slam it too fast, it'll jam up. The thing even has a flipping barrel attachment point, okay? So, what they don't do in performance, they kind of make up for in extra gimmicks. And with a sling, I think you could do all right. But that is pretty awesome. Yeah, it's fairly interesting. I kind of wish I'd pulled out those stampede shields now. You could also use them to like fly away if you needed to. That looks pretty gimpy, doesn't it? Fairly expensive to do this too. Finding stockade stocks, stampede shields, and barrel strikes. Now, even the ammo clips are becoming a little rare. All for a kind of a janky system that I have verified. This is, like I said, the 4th time I've recorded this series, and this is definitely the worst time, and this was probably the worst of the 2. Those were 3 dual wielding choices, and I honestly, your mileage and your theory may vary as to whether or not those are technically useful or not. Maybe you guys feel like dual wielding? I don't know, maybe. I don't know. Oh, gotta go. Let's show off some rival pistols. We're gonna have to go back in capacity a little ways, but you remember I was talking about you know, the Curve Flex going in a backpack, the Ultra 5 going in a backpack. Well, you could throw this in a backpack, but it takes a holster pretty well, as you can see. You know, we pop our little thing here, pull the sucker out. She's even got 3 balls on her. How awesome is that, you know? Again, the Amazon special version, we have glow-in-the-dark T-pole and exit door delete. This thing kind of got worked out of the collection a little bit and was kind of a raccoon popper for a while, but then it became kind of a beautiful collector's item that I didn't want to put a lot of wear and tear on. We have a K26 spring in here, and that hits kind of high and hot, but it hits well. All right. Don't have to pull that as hard as I remembered. Very powerful, very fun, and as you can see, as a last-ditch backup, that's a pretty high amount of firepower. I might end up with like a speed loader, but I doubt it because the things in the next video really negate even the idea of speed loaders, having magazines that can switch out between 12, 24, 25, and 35 ammo, and you're just switching out 2 35 round drums for 70 ammo. Kind of negates speed loaders, and you really do end up limiting this guy to like a last-ditch backup kind of thing. And that's great because if you consider this to be a beautiful collector's item, as I do, it won't see an insane amount of wear and tear. Probably never would have even bought one of these if I could have found a Heracles. And then I found a Heracles. 35 bucks, 33 bucks, something like that. Pretty high. And by the time I got it, I realized this was fragile like the Diva. It's not integrated like the Kronos. It's not made in India. This is made in China. Kind of a fragile system here, and I was too afraid to put a K25 in it. And the reason I was too afraid to put a K25 in it is because they've kind of become a collector's item. They're rare. I think I've got a couple more in my watch list, and I'm probably going to get one more, yes, okay? So I might put a minimum or a minimal K25, kind of like what I did with the Rival Visions. But this is my preferred system. No holsters, no slings. I'm just using a Kronos spring spacer and the Takedown stock spring. My Takedown spring was brand new, so that went in here, and those are the same length. Super easy to prime. Way, way easy to prime. And it's accurate, 35 to 40 feet. The Kronos can get up to about 50 feet of accuracy. As a guy who's trying to create backyard battles that are semi-realistic, this is a very convenient system. And it's one of the rarer systems, which is sad because this is kind of like the Curve Flex has, it on the system. And I just don't understand why people hate. There's so much hate when it comes to these systems just because it can't holster it, blah, blah, blah. Well, put it on a carabiner, Put it on a sling. Do what you gotta do. Put it in your book bag. This could the end-all be-all backup if it's in a book bag. But yeah, I like these Overwatch rounds too. They're nice and stiff. Oops. I hate dry firing, but thankfully this one's not fully upgraded, so probably my favorite Nerf pistol ever. And it definitely, if it's not my favorite, it's the one that makes the most sense. High capacity and even battles, But it's just too expensive to go out and find this when everything else on this video. The logical winner was the Takedown because of its capacity and size. Like I said, there's a ton of things that compare to this, but this guy's size is really what matters. Now this little 3D printed clip, I haven't even actually bothered to Allen wrench this down yet, but it holds 12 and it holds them well. And I'm gonna order another one of these just because I have to. I didn't expect 2 to fit on this tiny little rail attachment area. So we're gonna have to order another one of these. That's gonna put the Takedown at, let's see, that's 34 on board. But the K25 spring in here is really hardcore. And I kept feeling like I was going to tear the handle off. It's the reason I haven't upgraded the Heracles, actually. And I felt the same kind of thing here, but the Out of Dark's pump grip kind of saves this. Not only is it beautiful, but it actually makes the blaster functional. So yeah, I'm gonna take this guy off for the moment, just because I wanted to show you those are available on Etsy and eBay. They're, I mean, just wow. Can I get another one in here? You could technically squeeze a plushy Nerf ball in there and have a fourth. That's hilarious. But what do you say we use that as our priming ball? All right, so we'll go ahead and prime this sucker. There we go, there's our 8th ball. And I think actually one accidentally loaded front. So we're actually gonna fire 2. Yep. Woohoo! Headshot ammo because it has a little more impact. Yeah, you can throw your extra ammo on here. It's a little slow, so I recommend doing that during respawn. Swat your friend in the face! Bah! This system is actually fragile. Might send it to the graveyard. But probably the best capacity, ease of use, and fun, beauty, storability. Yeah. Thanks for sticking through all these crazy pistols. I know that was weird, and those rival blasters probably should have gone before the dual wield blasters. And it's interesting though, how even though we have primaries and secondaries coming up in the next video, in a way, if say this was your collection, all these Nerf pistols, you would technically have primary and secondary pistols. Now, which one is primary and which one is secondary? It really depends on you, but for me, and this list, we're kind of treating the single shot blasters with the most effective range and power, accuracy, chance to hit as the primary. You may consider those secondary and prefer the slam fire, the ultimate rate of fire, and don't care about the extra range. But I plan on moving around quite a bit, creating more distance and closing distance. Pistols are really great because you're a little more unbridled. You know, you're a little less burdened, I should say. 12-round pistol matches is actually a very attractive thing for me, and we have literally like 10 players worth that we could use, so I'm super stoked. That's all I have to say. Enjoy. Didn't really think about how the hell I wanted to end this segment.